Hey, I'm Salty Medic, and I have a really big question for you. How good do you think you can be? How great do you think you can be? Do you think you can be amazing? Analytical psychologists have found that there's one common thread, just one. If you can do this one great thing, then the rest of everything in your life will fall into place. So, are you ready to do that? I'm going to show you some stories, and you are going to love them. You're going to live vicariously through me and my colleague John, and you are going to learn so many things that are going to it's going to prepare you to see things that you never thought you would see, to feel things you never thought that you would feel. But with a little prodding and especially a little preparation, you will be ready. So it's a Friday night. It's about 11 o'clock at night, and you're at the fire station. You might be a paramedic, you might be an EMT, you might be a first responder, you might be an ECA, you might be an EMT student, you might be a nursing student. The tones go off for an unresponsive person. You get there, and there's someone laying on the street. Okay, so what's the first thing you do? ABCs, right? This is for entertainment purposes only. This is not a true story. So, you check for ABCs, and you find this person is pulseless and apneic. So what do? Well, you start CPR, and you start breathing for this person. So you apply the pads, and you find this person to be in this case, let's call it a systole. So you get access, IV, IO access, and you start pushing drugs, and you notice there's not much of a rhythm change, and you throw in an advanced airway, which in this case, anything other than a BVM and OPA. So that could be a King, it could be an iGel, something like that. It could be an endotracheal tube. It could be a nasotracheal tube, but endotracheal is the preferred way to go. And especially because this girl's only in her 20s. So she's laying in the street, in the ditch-ish. And so you have enough people that are working on this girl and taking care of her and doing a good job. They're doing high-quality CPR. They're providing breaths. They're giving advanced cardiac life support drugs through the IO, IV, whichever you've established. And you start questioning, and you find out that this person has been apparently, according to the police, which is hearsay in the court of law, apparently this person has been gasping for air for the past 4 or 5 hours. And so we're at midnight-ish. Times might have been changed to protect HIPAA. So you learn this new information, and you're not exactly sure what to do as far as, should I transport or should I not? Well, we don't transport dead people. That's the main thing. So John, this is take one, by the way. Stupid dogs. So you know that you don't transport dead people. If someone doesn't have a pulse, regardless of their age, unless there's some kind of extenuating circumstance, some kind of externality that's going to change things, like you're in the middle of a mall, or it's dangerous, people have guns, something like that, then you transport. It doesn't matter what the condition of the patient is, you get them out of there. So this patient, especially because she's so young, you work her for a long time. You go 45, 50 minutes, and you have end-tidal CO2. That's waveform. You have to make sure it's waveform, because that is the standard of care through an endotracheal tube to measure expired CO2. And say you've pushed 10, 12 rounds of advanced cardiac life support drugs, you have her intubated, you've done high quality CPR the entire time, you know this is a known drug house. So what else did you push? That's right, Narcan, naloxone. Good work. Sometimes with these heavy street drugs, these opiates, sometimes it takes up to 10 milligrams. So you can push it over and over. It's not going to hurt anybody. Now remember, this is for entertainment only. So, you continue to do your best efforts. You don't transport people that don't have a pulse. So, that's really, really key. But you do everything you can. So, you go through your H's and your T's. You go through all of those breath sounds, hypoxia, hyperkalemia, hypocalcemia, everything. Everything. And in the show notes, we're going to put the entire list for that. That way you'll know them. For your next code, codes can be really stressful, especially when they're young, especially when they're in the middle of the street in front of a known drug house with weird people driving by with bass playing and it's loud and it's obnoxious and you're trying to talk and you can't even hear what other people are saying. Anyhow, so the takeaway point is no matter what, you have to keep your cool. You can be great. You can be amazing. The sky is the limit. We live in the greatest country in the greatest period of time ever. It's up to you what you become. And there is no such thing as a valid excuse unless you make it. If you have any questions, email us.